Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Spanning the Need. My name is Anthony Spano.
And my name is Austin from Malutic Live. Glad to have everyone on board on this Sunday.
How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining us on a very special episode. Tonight, we're going to talk about Player of the Year and Coach of the Year. This year, we did a poll voted on by the fans to see who was the best player and coaches in both categories of girls basketball as well as boys basketball. So we hope to tell everyone who wins, and we're going to announce those tonight. So the way we did this was, we polled our Mahoning Valley. Anyone could vote. It was from February 23rd till March 5th at midnight. And tell me, we had some votes at 11:58 and 11:59 at that time. I mean, we were looking at that time at midnight, and people were still voting.
Yeah, it was crazy. We didn't want to stop, but people kept on going. It was a Friday night after midnight. Normally, we're all still here anyways. And I kept looking over and over at the votes, and people just left and right. Every time I re-synced it, Anthony, we kept getting votes and votes like crazy.
And we had to shut it down at midnight. And I think I was on about 15 minutes before it was going, to just make sure we had everything in order, and the votes were going. I think we had 100 some votes in the last 15, 20 minutes. So let's talk about how we did this. So what we did was we took sources from all over the community on best players of the year, best girls and boys, and coaches. We looked at everything from how many points were scored, records. There was really no stone unturned. We did have some people that made some recommendations at the last minute, which we added. We're very good at that. We have no problem. The fans are what drive this, and that's what you guys are going to do, is you voted. So At the end of the day, you guys are the ones that voted, and over 8,400 people voted, or I should say over 8,400 votes were casted. That's a pretty good number just for our first time doing this.
And we talked about it. We put it together in so little time, and I was very pleased with the amount of votes we got today. In the last 2 weeks.
Well, and I was very surprised on just the overwhelming support we had, and a lot of the players in the school districts really had. And I think that was what was so great about it, was just because of everyone. We've had such a difficult time this year that it's hard. It was very hard, with teams only playing maybe 15 instead of their normal 22 games. And we had some teams that played 21, 22 games. And then we had all of Trumbull County that really did not play until January.
Yeah.
So I think that was a very transitional period for them, because trust me, you want to play your best ball by February and towards the tournament. Absolutely. And then the change in the tournament, where all games in the districts, all the way up to districts, were played at home. And I think that helped a lot of teams that we saw from Cheney, Poland, from Struthers and Chardon, just some teams to be named. I mean, you were at some of the games. What did you see?
Well, let me say something. Last night was fun, and experience for Tony Matisse and the McDonald Lady Blue Devils. They looked impressive again. They could have easily blown out Shadyside last night, but they kept it close. They just couldn't click at that minute in order to blow them out. And whenever they had that opportunity, Anthony, it just didn't happen for some odd reason. And they only won by, I think, 8 points last night. But this team is destined for gonna have, for the first time since 1991, to be down in state, and I will be there Thursday, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what they can do. But it's not going to be easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, we know that. We definitely know that from what we've seen. I think we've seen a lot this year. A lot of these teams have really given it all, and I think that's what's so great about this year. And some of the winners, and I'm going to say this: everyone was phenomenal this year. No matter if you don't win this or not, everyone gave it their all. We will say this: all of the boys, girls, coaches, there were probably not even 100 votes that separated every single one of those in the top 2 or 3 towards the end, and it would go up and down for almost 2 days. And that's because of the commitment for you, the viewers, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your guys' busy schedule and really just doing this to what we really appreciate everyone. So, well,
Definitely.
I
Well,
think it's
Anthony, if you
about
don't
that
mind me
time.
chiming in, real quick, I wanted to add something.
Go for it.
My producer and I were talking yesterday during the day, and there's a lot of 1,000-point scorers this year, and it's just unbelievable with a season like we had like this. I feel like this was the biggest season we had with the 1,000-point scores. Every night you turn around, we're posting about 1,000-point scorer. Last night we had 2 in the same game. That hasn't happened in 25 years, Anthony.
Yeah, I that's something that you just look at and you're just amazed. I mean, it's just the scores just was ringing in. I will say this: the game from last night was Chardon and Struthers, probably
Oh
one
yeah,
of the best games that I heard. I heard stories about it. From what I've been told from the OHSAA, that was the top seven or eight highest scoring game in the state at all these years that they've kept records. Now, that I guess they have to confirm it. So it'll be interesting to see how everything flows or even kind of rolls out now with everything.
absolutely. And you know what? It should be a very fun regional. I know Struthers has themselves a big one coming up on Thursday, St. B's, and it's never easy to play St. B's. It's going to be a tough one for the Cats. If they win that one, they're destined to play Cheney in the regional finals in order to go down to state. So that will be on Saturday at 1:30. So Thursday is going to be a tough one for the Cats. If they can get past St. B's, then I like their chances to get down to state. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think they have a huge. I mean, they're 25-0.
Yeah.
We have Cheney, who's phenomenal this year.
At
That'll
this
turn
time,
into
at this time, Anthony, you throw the records right out of the books. In all honesty.
exactly, and I think that also shows what you're going to see long term.
Uh-huh.
I think you're going to see a very different teams at that level. I think that when you see just what I mean, 116 points. Come on, I mean,
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been at that game.
Oh
So
yeah. Let me say this: if the McDonald game was at McDonald and I don't have to drive an hour and a half, I definitely would have been in Struthers yesterday. But I had an over hour and a half drive, so I was not able to attend Struthers. But if it was closer to here, I definitely would have been there. And I might have only missed. I probably would have missed the McDonald game even if it was in McDonald.
well, I will say this: could you imagine with not in the pandemic, Struthers Fieldhouse, McDonald
Oh,
sold out, packed,
unbelievable.
Poland packed.
Yeah.
And I would, and I've talked to several coaches over the last week that they like this type of postseason tournament where all the way up to districts, it's a home game. If you're the top seed, you go all the way through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It is what it is. Let's get started.
Let's do
Take
it.
it on, Austin. Let's go with the boys.
All right. Well, the boys, it was close, Anthony. It came all the way down to literally midnight on Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever you want to call it. It came all the way down to the end. And we like to announce that this year's senior basketball player that won the Boys Award for Spanning the Need and for Malutic Live is Berlin Center and Western Reserve standout Ryan Gordon. Congratulations, Ryan. You definitely deserve it. And on behalf of myself, I'll speak for Ryan. He's played in one of the toughest, and I will mean toughest divisions in basketball this year around here in the conference, and that's the MVAC. No matter what team you look at, every team, somebody can win that game every night. You have McDonald, you have Waterloo, Lovo, Mineral Ridge, Jackson, Moulton, Waterloo, Sebring. And in a given night, anybody can beat anyone, and you cannot forget about Springfield.
Well, and I think there's one thing. I mean, he's very competitive. He's very selfish with the ball. Gives it to his teammates. I know they didn't have a great season, but they had a lot of great workmen, teamwork, and everything. And I think what happens is when you can do that. I mean, he's averaging 15, 16 points a game. He was great on the free throw, almost close to 80%. I mean, you put this guy on the line towards the end of the game, you're not going to have excuses to not win a game.
Definitely. And, he also, don't forget, he was first-team MVAC this year as well. So that's a big recognition for Ryan.
Well, and I will say this: everyone in the Valley, everyone voted. These are the results we come up with. We have no problem sharing them. We want to be as transparent as possible. I will say this: we will be going through and we'll be talking with Ryan a little bit later here in a couple minutes. So we just want to make sure that stick with us after all these, and we're gonna announce that and keep going here shortly. But we're definitely going to be talking with Ryan here in probably about a little bit. But let's move on to the next one. So
take it away, Anthony.
So for the girls, it's one of those things that there were so many good candidates that it was hard to judge. I mean, it really was. We look at just every team that we saw, and we look at just the passion that these kids had, just in everything like that. So you know what, we're gonna go right to it. The girls was probably the toughest one out of everything because the top 5 kept rotating up and down all last week.
It was rotating at 11:59 Friday night.
Yeah, and we think that this person and everyone just great candidates. So the top girl of the year voted on by the fans from Canfield Cardinals, Alyssa Dill. This girl she had the huge upset at Perry in the tournament. She averages 13 points a game, 2-year starter. What do you think about her?
Anthony, she's only a junior. She's back next year with this Cardinals team, and you talked about it, a huge upset in Perry. She's averaging 13 and a half points per game. She's everywhere and definitely deserving. And her father, Keith, he actually played at Camel in the early 90s, and they won the 1992-93 state championship. So, and he's also one of the all-time scorers at Camel. So definitely she is following in her father's footsteps for sure.
Yeah, and I think she just showed a lot this year, and you got to give it to everyone else out there, the 1,000-point scorers, all voted on by the fans. We appreciate everything you guys have done. We hope to really get this going next year and the year after. But congratulations to her. I will say this: she was all conference first team this year, and she was last year's second team. So you could see the improvement over the last couple of years just in that.
Definitely.
So I think that shows a great camaraderie of what she's done over the years, and she's got that basketball in her system like a lot of the other players did in the tournament as well as on our list. And I could say this: we had over 40, probably 30 or 40 players across the Valley that had the opportunity to get votes. So, but 2-year starter, Division I reaches every year as a starter. So I think 13 points. I mean, almost 80%, and she can shoot the 3.
Oh, definitely.
33%.
Yeah, definitely, Anthony. She's, one of the players that I'm looking forward to next year, and, seeing what she can do as a senior, and looking forward to seeing where she'll end up in college, because she's definitely one of those players that, she can go very far.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a good test for her next year, because Canfield's got a lot of starters coming back. Yeah. And I think what happens is it'll be one of those things that team will really get to come together and just really work and really be that. So, and I know we'll be having Ryan Gordon come in here in a little bit, in about 5 or 6 minutes. He'll be showing here shortly after we kind of get through everything. But Ryan will be coming on. We'll be talking to him about his season and just what his thoughts were. We'll also be talking with additional people as well. So let's keep it going. Who you got next?
Well, this one's going to be tough. This one was the boys' head coach of the year, and it came down to the final minute again, Anthony, between 3 great coaches around this valley. And, this one was close, but obviously the fans like him the most. And, yesterday's game might have just solidified him. Michael Wernicki from Struthers, 46-4 since last season, and when he joined them in 2019. He's ranked in the top 3 in the state this past season. Scoring offense, Struthers is averaging 69 points a game. They put up 116 yesterday, Anthony, in their district championship game. McDonald has played up from the Division 4 classification 10 times this season. They are 9-1 against each opponent. The Wildcats have won back-to-back North 8 championships. This season, Struthers has posted a perfect 12-0 season after last year's 12-2 mark in the NEH. Struthers crafted AP top 25 on January 5th at number 10. So, you look at Struthers all over. Don't forget Trey Metzger, 1,000-point scorer this year. So, congratulations, Coach Wernicki. You definitely deserved it.
Yeah, and one thing, undefeated this year. There are a lot of top coaches, and he came from the college ranks. He was at Youngstown State for about 12 years under Coach Slocum. Now he's coaching their grandson, who is a senior, who can light it up at any time, and ranked in the top 5 this year in the state in their division.
Yeah, definitely. Well deserved, and congratulations, Coach. Like I mentioned, just ranked in the top 3 in the state this past season. That's unbelievable, Anthony.
Well, I think one thing it really does is Struthers. We have a lot of good basketball programs, but there's a lot of great basketball programs in the state, in Division 1 through Division 4, 5, and all that. So to have Struthers ranked undefeated, have a hell of a game last night, which I would have loved to seen that game on TV. That would have been like one of those ESPN classics that you like, the ones that you just see with everything going on and everything. So that I thought that was a phenomenal game, and it was just something that really was an epic game. And Coach, great season and congratulations.
Definitely, and it doesn't stop, Anthony. They got a big one coming up in the regional final. Coming up, not regional semifinals on Thursday. Take that back, against Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. That's no easy task, and that one will be fun. Obviously, sadly, I have to miss that because I will be in Dayton for the McDonald State semifinal game. But Thursday night's will be fun. Luckily, Dylan Murphy will be there for us, and he'll be able to see a great one as those two teams are going to battle it out, and it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'm not, and I'll be very honest, I'm not a fan of having the state tournament at Dayton. I think it does not it gives a disadvantage to the teams coming from Northeast Ohio. It gives a lot of different, it gives advantages, disadvantages. I think teams traveling, a team, I think the game's at 3 or 4 o'clock or 1 o'clock. I'm not exactly sure.
It's a 2 p.m. tip-off.
Yeah, that's a 3 or 4 hour trip. You want to get off the bus?
I looked it up. From our office, it's a 3 hour and 50-minute drive. So we're going to leave around 9 o'clock.
I'm not a fan of that. Dayton's on the other side of the state. Maybe they'll get the same as Canton when they have the football. You could argue for that, but I think keeping everything centrally located is the best option for all teams, no matter where you're from, and stuff like that. So,
Anthony, definitely want to agree with you. That's what I think changed, their minds. Obviously, for football, I only had to drive an hour for the state championship game, and same for Springfield. But some of these teams had to drive over 3 and 4 hours. So maybe we're getting it back in the winter here. That's for sure.
Yeah, getting feedback, and I think, and you know what, and maybe they made a decision for everything like that, and just really, I just hope. I understand difficult times, pandemic, but hopefully down the road they'll think about it. And because I remember West Branch was down there, and they're getting ready. They're 2 minutes on the court, and they canceled it because of the pandemic. So I felt bad for West Branch and all those ladies down there, which you get that far, and it's just one of those things.
Definitely, for sure.
So now, our final award tonight. And so this one was probably, like we said, were just up and down voting. This one probably was the closest out of all of them. And all the coaches were great. Every coach, I referee high school basketball, so I know exactly what's going on. And I talked to all the coaches. They're all great coaches. They all care about their kids. They all will do anything for their kids when they yell at me. But so at the end of the day, we're all there to have fun and enjoy it because we're there for the kids. So this one, Mahoning Valley Fan Girls Coach of the Year? Nick Blancher, Bowling Bulldogs. They had a season. Nick had a season he can probably remember. 200th win this year. Okay. He's been 5-time Coach of the Year by the Mahoning Valley Coaches Association. 5 conference titles, 9 sectionals, 2 districts. I could keep going on, but at the same time, there's a lot of great coaches, and Nick's one of those good guys. I referee. He's passionate to his kids.
Yeah.
He's a great thinker, just knows the game of basketball.
And Anthony, you can't forget the biggest one. I look at this one. 41 consecutive regular season wins. That's the longest in school history.
Wow, yeah, that is. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And he's been around a long time, and there's a lot of and I think he's been at Poland where he's still really sustained a great tradition there from when he started there back in I think 2009 or 10. Sorry if I aged him or anything like that. But he came with a great philosophy. He knew what he was going to get into. He knew what he was doing, and they've really played as a team every year. I've had them plenty of times. Nick's a great guy. So is Mike over at Struthers, and they really know what they're doing. They have the high basketball IQ.
Definitely. And, once again, congratulations to Nick. He's a good friend. He's a very good supporter of us, what we do. He's been on the show several times, and, congratulations. And, obviously their season ended short on the loss in the postseason, but looking forward to next season, seeing what they can do. And they're going to be young too.
And we'll actually be talking with Ryan Gordon, Coach Blanch and Coach Mike over at Struthers. And I've known Coach Mike probably for about 13 years, and I could never say his last name. So and he knows that. So it's just one of those things that I just could never say his name. So and hopefully we can talk to all of them. But right now we're gonna bring in Ryan Gordon. Ryan, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. How about you?
Congratulations. How's it feel to be the Mahoning Valley Fan Player of the Year? You surprised?
I am surprised. First off, I want to thank my coaches, Coach Del Torio and Coach Snyder, especially in these hard times. It was a season that was very up in the air at all times, and they did a great job. I want to thank my family and my friends who are there for support, and every other coach I've ever had.
What's it feel like to just be in this position, and really, what have you learned over this kind of weird year? I should say. I mean, it's been a really weird year with the pandemic.
For sure. I learned that nothing is given and that nothing is guaranteed. So you have to take the most out of every situation. Obviously not having as many fans in the stands and not having, that big student section for big games, it's tough, but I'm grateful that we were able to get in as many games as we could and that we were able to have a season. So I guess I just learned nothing's guaranteed and that nothing's going to be handed to you. So you have to go out and get it.
Brian, you said big game. It seemed like every conference game was a big game, no matter what school you guys were playing. Talk about the conference and how big of a year that was. And, every night you knew it was going to be competitive.
For sure. Really tough this year. Tough Springfield team. They're headed to regionals. Waterloo in the district championship, McDonald in the district championship, and, playing Jackson Milton 3 times, twice at their place. The conference was tough this year, and especially Sebring had a big upset against Springfield. So every conference game this year for every team, you had to go out and get it, and there was no guaranteed wins.
I got a question, Ryan. There's this rumor going around that your dad threw down a 360 windmill dunk in 2002. Is that true? Or is that just something that your dad would tell you?
No, that's definitely something my dad would just tell me. That didn't happen, and if it did, the cameras must not have been on.
Well, we didn't have phones back then like we do now, but I guarantee if he said he did it, he did it. The sports run in the family, I will assume, probably. What really motivates you? Your coach says you're very competitive. You're a hard worker. What one advice can you give to potential players out there that are growing up in the elementary, middle school that kind of, you're a senior, you're graduating, and what advice can you give them?
This is the biggest piece of advice I can give. If you want something, go get it. Don't let anything hold you back, and, just go out and work for it. I mean, nothing is stopping you from being great. You can always go outside, run. You can always put in the work. If you want something, go get it. And, don't listen to people that tell you can't do something. Don't let anyone tell you that you cannot or can do something, that you must do this or you can't do that. Just stick to yourself, stick to your heart, go get what you want to get.
Well, Ryan, I appreciate you taking time. We'll be in contact with some partying gifts, as we like to call them. But I wish you the best. Just you going to college anywhere? Any plans for college?
I do plan on playing at the college level. I'm currently undecided on where. I still have a couple of visits coming up that I'm going to weigh out my options. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule tonight. Congratulations again.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
That's a good kid right there. Any coach would like a kid like that.
Well deserved. And I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk on behalf of Ryan. There's a lot of kids around this valley who put him down, and he just keeps going and going and going. And he'll look at me and say, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, Ryan, keep it going, keep pushing, because who cares what the haters say? F them, right? Just keep going and keep pushing yourself, basically.
PG-13, Austin. PG. Yeah, and you know what? I think that's what you have to learn. You have to learn that no matter what anyone says, you keep doing your thing, you improve, you get better, and you do what's needed. And you have good mentors, you have good coaches that will help you through that process.
Yeah, definitely. And and like you talked about, Coach Autori's done an excellent job with them throughout the years. I mean, Autori's been there his whole high school career, so it was nice to keep that same coach the last 4 years and keep rebuilding and keep getting better.
Yeah, and they have a great program. This year was a little up and down, as he said, and I think, but at the same time, I think everyone played their hearts out in the tournament. I like to say this: you can go 8-16. I've seen teams go 10-13 and make it to regionals. It's what counts in the tournament.
Definitely. And, prime example yesterday, Chardon came in at the 15 seed, Anthony, and, they took Struthers to double overtime. So you just never know, what you're going to get, especially come playoff time.
Yeah. And Ryan did a great job this year. Struthers did a good job. And, all these kids, trust me, I used to play back probably like 9th grade and then didn't make the team after that. So I'll just say that. But the pressure these kids go under, and they're 17 and 18 years old. Yeah. It's just one of those things. So, well, now we got from Poland, Coach. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
What's going on, Coach?
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How's it feel to be Mahoning Valley's Fan Coach of the Year?
Yeah, it's kind of unique. I'm not used to that many people liking me. I don't know if you cut the votes off when I voted for myself and I won 1-0, or whether, other people actually like me. That's pretty cool. So good. It's a feel-good story there, Austin. Thanks for raising my self-esteem up.
Oh, definitely not a problem. Coach, let's start off with your 200th win this season. How amazing was that? Take us back to that game and talk about it with us.
The main focus of the night was Struthers. I know the girls ramped up and the coaches knew all about it. But my main focus was obviously winning that game. And then when it was done, it's just an accumulation of a lot of good people, great administrators that I have that have just put me in a good position, trusted me, and kids that have bought into the system I try to put in place. And they believe in it. They work towards it. And assistant coaches I've had over the years and the ones I currently have right now, it's just a lot of good people. I get the recognition because I have the title of head coach, but there's so many more people that go into that. So I take it on behalf of them, and I'm just everything that we can accomplish, we do it together. And like I said, this is an award that I get the credit for, but I know way better than that. It took a lot more people than just me to do it.
And Coach, I've reffed some of your games, as I've talked about a little bit earlier. And you do a great job with the kids. And
Thanks.
your basketball IQ is great. And you talk about what it was to kind of develop. I know I think you started in 2009, 010 around at Poland, if I'm correct.
2009-10 season was my first year.
How was it to kind of come in and develop a big time program like Poland? Because anyone that comes into a program like Poland or Struthers or Boardman, there's high expectations on a new coach.
Yeah, when I took over the program, it was struggling. It was in a 5-year stretch, I would say, of just losing seasons. And right now, thankfully, our kids don't even know anything about it, but I try and tell them a little bit just because they need to realize we used to be a program that would win 4 to 6, 7 games a year consistently. And I knew we had more talent than that. And it was just finding people that were willing to work towards it and believe in it and have the same beliefs I do. And most importantly, finding coaches that really wanted to invest the time and weren't just looking for a supplemental to feed their wallet. And that's half the battle. I mean, you're not going to make money if you do this job the right way. If you do it and you divide your hours by what your paycheck is, you're not making minimum wage. I mean, you got to put a lot of time in. And you can't be sitting there counting your hours or asking yourself if it's worth it. You got to see the goal at hand and you got to work towards it. And, you know, like you guys were just talking about a few minutes ago, you're going to have haters. You're going to have people that kids don't make the team, kids don't start, kids don't play enough, shoot enough. You got to wither the storm and just realize that when you look yourself in the mirror, you're doing the best that you can. And we understand, you know, it's easier for them, you know, because they have one person to worry about. You've got 20-some people to worry about, including your coaches. And I understand it from a parent standpoint. It's not easy to watch your kid be sad, you know, and I get that. But again, you've got to do what's best for the program. And like I always say, if your kid was in the top 5, 6, 7, 8 that we have in our rotation, she would play, you know, and right now she's not. So JV's a builder for her. But we've come into an era now where JV basketball is like frowned upon. You know, people want to play varsity and that's it. And if I'm on JV, this isn't good enough. You know, the coach hates me or, you know, I don't know, I'm too good for JV. And you get to play 6 quarters a night now. So at Poland, we try to play kids as much as we can. And, you know, you get 120 on the year for the regular season and you get 6 a night. So, I mean, there's times I have starters playing 2 JV quarters and then playing 4 varsity quarters just to get them more reps. You know, I just believe in that. In order for your program to get better, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And, you know, if you have 3 or 4 good players and the rest of your team isn't very good, then everything is going to go down the tubes. So you've got to be able to have depth. You've got to have kids that really want to work towards it and not have excuses for why it's not their turn.
Now, Coach, you guys have the longest regular season winning streak in school history of 41. Talk about that. And, you know, no one's even close to having that around in this area.
Yeah, that was consecutive conference wins, was the 41. The regular season wins, I believe, was a 31, and that was a school record there too, both of which we're very proud of. A lot of hard work, a lot of different kids that went through that, but the consistency was our work ethic, what our goals were, and we never talk about those things. It's just those are the things that we work towards each game, and then as things build up, you know, we see what records we broke at the end of the season. And I always want to bring that to the kids' attention because I think it's important. I mean, when you're setting a school record for as long as our school's been around, that's saying something. You know, record breakers, individual record breakers. You know, we've had Jackie break a few of those this year, but she'll be the first one to tell you, even though she gets the accolades, it's the teammates who got her the ball, that set the screens, that got the rebounds and kicked it back out to her. You know, it's team efforts with all these records. Same thing I told you about with my 200th win. I get the accolades, but I didn't do anything. I never put the ball in the basket. You know, I just the facilitator, and I had people that really believed in what we were trying to do, and together we accomplished great things.
Well, and I think one thing is this past year or 2021, you actually got the Mahoning Valley Coaches Association of the Year. And how does that feel with your 200th win at the same time? You were the, I should say, in Division II Inland District coach in 19. How does it feel to get those awards? I know you say it's a team sport and you really look up to, and you have your players and everything. How does that feel to share it with Poland, the Poland community?
I think it's great because I'm a nobody. So for me to come out and just be a kid from Poland who just wants to do good for his alma mater, I was fortunate enough to get a coaching job and a teaching job in the district that I went to. I have a lot of Poland pride. So to bring any accolade or spotlight in a good, positive way, that's great for me, because I this community deserves it. These kids deserve it. A lot of good people around here. And like I said, anytime I can help shine a light on this community, I'm all for it. That's what it's all about, the community and the Poland name.
Well, we
Coach,
appreciate you taking time. Go
Coach,
ahead.
I got to ask you, before we let you go, Coach, we asked everyone on Facebook, any comments, please chime in. And, we just had Ryan on the show, and we asked him about his father. He said you can vouch for him, that he had a two-hand dunk back in '98 against you, over you. Is that true?
Yes, it was, with a donut into a mug on the table, and he dunked right over me and then took it down. But I'll tell you this, you couldn't have had a better winner for the boys' side of it. Ryan, I've watched him play, and I enjoyed watching Western Reserve boys basketball. Very unselfish kid, times that he had the basketball and could have done something point-wise, and he ends up passing it off to his teammates so they could do something. I mean, it really was an enjoyable kid to watch, and I hope to see him on the college floor here pretty soon.
Well, we appreciate you taking time, Coach, and we'll be in touch. But thank you for everything you do for sports, the student athletes, and the Poland community.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate the award, and I appreciate all you guys do. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Take care, sir. Coach is just a great guy all around.
Definitely. And, one of the first coaches, I'd have to say, on the girls' side that supported us. When we first started 4 years ago, Coach Blanch was the first one to, text me and say, hey, you'll have our support from here on out. So, always glad to, have his side of things. And, I wish I would have been able to see more polling games this year, but it was tough with COVID this year. But, they had an amazing season this year. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, they had a great season, and Coach does a great job there. And Jackie Grisdale and her father, who's the head coach at Poland, great coach as well. They got two great coaches at Poland, and real first-class individuals and teams there. No matter as much as they yell at me, but it's all in good fun. That's how we like to say it.
Definitely.
So, now you know what we got Coach Mike. Hey, Coach, how are you, sir?
How you guys doing?
How's it going, Coach?
Good.
It's going good today.
Congratulations on getting your award.
Thank you very much. It's a humbling thing, to be honest with you. That list of people that I was a part of was very impressive. The accolades of a lot of the guys on there. I have not done anything near to what some of those guys have done, like Coach Grisdale and Coach French at Springfield, all the success he's had, and everyone else on that list. I mean, I don't want to leave anybody off, but it was an unbelievable list, and it's very humbling for me.
Coach, first things first, talk about the game yesterday. Incredible win in double overtime.
Oh, it went to double overtime? I didn't know. I mean, geez, it was you know what? I'll be honest with you. That game, like this award, it's a player's thing. My guys, I just couldn't be more proud of the effort that, and I use all capital letters in this, that our team had yesterday. We had to play everybody that was available, and everybody at some point made a significant contribution to that win. And a lot of them were by guys who had never been in a position of that kind of stress, with that kind of what was on the line at the moment, and especially against an opponent that was that good. So, for them, I was just so proud. And this award it's a player's award. If I was out there playing, it'd be different. But, I look good because they look good, and they make me look good. And that's truly what it is. So, I would love to have all of those guys standing behind me to accept it. But it is definitely an honor, no question.
Well, we know and I was corrected by Miss Nancy Knight, the athletic director, that they scored 118 points, not 116 points. So, Nancy, I hear you, but I mean, we talked earlier when we announced that game was probably one of the most highest scoring games in OHSA history. I think in the top 7 or 8, I think they have to officially do all the normal process and go back to the score. And how does, I mean, that's a lot of points in high school for 2 teams.
Man, I was looking at the book today, and there's so many sidebars to that game. There are 2 kids, the Toth kid and the Sulka kid, who are as good of high school basketball players. I think. I mean, if anybody was at the game, you can't deny how good those kids were. I mean, Sulka's borderline unstoppable at the high school level. Well, those 2 kids combined for 73 points. And Aiden Slocum and Brandon Washington on my end combined for 67. So that's a high scoring game just between those 4 kids unto itself. I think we shot 79 or something like that combined free throws. And there was about 26 or 27 combined 3-pointers made. I mean, it was just an insane night. And man, I mean, I can't imagine how much fun it was for the people watching the game to witness that.
It was like one of those ESPN classics that do we have that game on tape so we can actually watch it?
I do. I watched a little bit today because I needed to go back and see in some key moments what we did do and what we didn't do well to, hopefully prepare us a little bit better as we move forward.
Coach, let's talk about the team a little more. So you guys have won back-to-back North 8 championships, but it was a tough division this year, obviously, with you guys and Poland, going down to the wire every time you guys play one another.
Yeah, I mean, the Poland game it doesn't matter, what the records are. I mean, it's a cliched thing, but it's such a highly competitive game every year. And this league, there's outstanding coaches in it all the way across the board. I mean, the one thing, and I've said this to other people, one of the things, and I don't mean any disrespect to any other leagues, but top to bottom, every school in our league is represented by a very good head coach. And, and we've got a lot of really good players sprinkled throughout this league, which is one of the biggest reasons why it's so competitive.
And Mike, I've known you for, it's probably been since you came to Youngstown.
We're looking at about 16 years now, buddy.
Yeah, 16 years I've known you, and refereed, and just good friendship that we've had when you were at YSU. And now you're coaching Slocum's grandson. So if everyone's not familiar, I like to say Coach Mike because he knows I could never say his last name.
That's fine.
I don't think a lot of people could.
A lot of people can.
He was an assistant coach at Youngstown State under Coach Slocum. Then Coach Slocum retired in 2017-18, and then Coach Mike came over to Coach Struthers. At that time, Coach Slocum had a grandson, which I knew very well, and I haven't seen in a while. And then I find out he's now playing at Struthers. How does it feel to coach basically a good friend of yours grandson?
It was an honor. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, he's no different than any of the other kids. When he came over here, the first thing that him and I did was separate the relationship. I said to him, look, obviously I have a long-standing relationship with your grandfather, but that does not dictate the terms of our relationship. Our relationship is going to be different. It's going to be based on respect. It's going to be based on what we do here, not what the past has brought us in our prior relationship. And I think we've both respected each other's boundaries from that standpoint. And it's allowed us to just have a normal player-coach relationship. I mean, obviously, I'm close to him because I've known him his whole life, but we've done a good job of assimilating that relationship in with everybody else in the program. So it really hasn't. If anybody in the program will ask, maybe sometimes I'm not hard enough on him. Maybe sometimes I'm harder on him. It just depends on everybody's perspective. But it's been a very good relationship as far as that goes.
Now, Coach, back on January 29th, senior Trey Metzger scored his 1,000 points. Since then, he's averaging 16 points per game. Talk about Trey and the performance he's put up this year so far.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Trey's doing what seniors do and what you expect seniors to do. As we got to the back half of the year, he's really paid more attention on a daily basis to all the little things. He's worked extremely hard in practice as far as getting himself ready for each and every night, each and every game, and just preparing on a daily basis to shoot the ball better. And he has really shot the ball at a very high level the last 6 or 7 games going down the stretch. I couldn't be happier for him. He's somebody who's been a 3-year starter, but a 4-year contributor to this program. Leading up to yesterday, him and Brandon Washington had already played in 2 district games as freshmen and as juniors, and had come up short both times, their freshman year to Lakeview and then obviously last year to Cheney. So I was extremely happy for the 2 of them as they went into their senior year and got back to this point for a 3rd time to finally be able to throw it over the top. I wish it was a little bit easier, but I think the way that it went down is probably going to be a little bit more memorable for them for the rest of their lives.
Well, and you're undefeated. I think your next game is Akron St. Vincent St. Mary.
Yeah, I heard
correct?
they're pretty good. I'm not sure, but I think that's a pretty good team.
When you so moving on, I'm not going to talk about that. Moving on, what do you look at the next game? Like, what do you think that? Because as you know, records in the term, you throw records out. To be honest, anyone can win at any tournament, no matter if it's the NCAA level or at the high school level. What's that look like for you in the tournament?
Well, I mean, we'll start with the record. I mean, to be honest with you, the day we finished the regular season, the record went out the window because once you get to the tournament, I mean, unless you win the state championship, you're going to hang a loss on there. So it's unavoidable. So, that's more of a regular season thing. So once we got past that last regular season game, that was out the window. And to be honest with you, we never talked about it. I think my guys felt a little bit of the pressure the night against McDonald to finish off that regular season, but it really hasn't come up all year because that has never been, our goal. And, and as we prepare for the next game, look, we scrimmaged Akron St. Vincent St. Mary in November I scheduled that because I had a feeling that if we were lucky enough to do what we needed to do, and if we had the type of team that I felt we had, then this was a possibility, this game coming up. So I wanted to get a feel for them and have my kids get a feel for them in November. I mean, does it directly help us on Thursday? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. At least there's a familiarity there between the 2 teams now, at least for my guys. They've been here a million times, so I don't think for them it matters. But for my guys, it will. And we're going to prepare to win that game on Thursday. And I'll be honest with you, we couldn't be more prepared now after what we've just experienced with Chardon. Being down 14 in the first half against a team that was not going to go away. And the biggest part of that game was the fact that we did not break. I felt we were relentless last night. When they hit the 3 in overtime to send it to double overtime, that can break a lot of teams. Teams don't typically come back from that, especially with 3 starters out of the game due to a foul out. And our other player, Luke Barker, was due to foul out in another minute. A lot of teams can't withstand that. And this team just stayed relentless and just kept going and going and going until we finally pushed it over the top.
Now, Coach, you said, obviously you're looking forward to Thursday, but, just fast forward real quick. And then Saturday, if you guys are able to get past on Thursday, Saturday is going to be one heck of a game to remember because obviously you guys still have that chip on your shoulder from last season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the potential's there if us and Cheney had both, are both fortunate enough on Thursday. It would be something neat to play them in the regional final. Look, if I'd be a fool if I was even thinking about that at this point.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is hopefully they would consider moving the game back to here. There's no need to play it there. Maybe we could play it at YSU or go back to Boardman where our district should be and allow the fans, in our area to fill both sides of that building again. But nonetheless, I mean, we'll be fortunate enough to get through Thursday and we're going to do everything that we can do. I feel confident and my guys will feel confident. There's no question about that. And this is what it's all about. maybe two of the better teams in the whole state are going to play on Thursday night. And this time of the year, that's what gets you going. That's what you look forward to.
And before I let you go, I got to ask this question. I forgot to ask Nick from Poland is, if you were to pick the tournament seating bracket like they did, go back to the old way of you go to a central neutral location, or do you like the top seed gets all home games as long as they continue to win through district? Do you have a preferring of what that may look like, or do you like what it is now?
I'll be honest with you. I was asked this question last week, and I still don't know. Here's my answer. My answer is I think everybody's opinion on this differs based on what your experience is in the tournament. I'll sit here and tell you today that I love it because we played 4 straight home games. Why would I want to go anywhere else if I can continue to play at home? Ask somebody like Kent South who had to travel an hour in the semifinal and play on our floor with our in front of our fans, and they might say, you know what, we would have had a better chance if this game was at a neutral site. So I think it's I think it's in the eye of the beholder and what your own personal experience was going through it. I do think playing it at the neutral site is unique for the fans. But if you were in the field house last night, I mean, both fan bases brought it, and it was a throwback last night to what could have been this year and what somewhat was last year. It was just an amazing environment last night.
Coach,
well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Well, I do want to say this to the both of you. Austin, I want to thank you for everything that you've done this year, covering every school throughout the Valley, men's and women's, and putting stuff out there to help everybody know, who was playing and scores right away. I mean, that was an unbelievable thing for the community who couldn't be at games to be able to follow it. I thank you for that. And I know countless people in the Valley are very appreciative for you and your staff's work this year. And Tony, as you've gone through the years, I really appreciate what you've done through your Hope Foundation, all of the kids and all of the people that you've helped through that. I don't know if people understand, how much work you put into that and how much good it's done over the years. And I thank you and commend you for that. So the two of you should be very proud of the work you've done, and I appreciate it.
Coach, really appreciate it. And we'll definitely, sadly, I cannot make it Thursday, but we'll have somebody up there. Best of luck to you guys. Hopefully you guys get it done.
Great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Coach, give my best to the family. Always a pleasure, but congratulations. We'll be in touch as well. And good luck Thursday.
Thank you guys again. And I'm very humbled by the award. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Take care.
You're welcome.
That's a great lineup. Those are
definitely.
some good winners from the fan voting, and just was a great night of honoring individuals of fans voted on.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a great night, and great to see all 3 faces for sure.
Yeah, and they were, and just to let everyone know, they were notified as soon as we announced it. So no one really knew. They weren't given ahead of time. They were told probably about 7:05 is the automatic things that went out. So we had over 8,400 people, or 8,400 votes casted. It was a great success. We thank everyone who joined us tonight. Austin, I thought it was a success. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely thought it was a success too, Tony, and appreciate all, working together with me and, doing this. I had a lot of fun doing it, especially through this difficult time. And obviously now, we're starting to be easy here with all the games, only 2-3 games a night, but still a lot of work still left to be done with high school basketball. Really appreciate you, coming on with us and, doing this together with all of us.
I think we'll be doing more in the future.
Oh, definitely. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Austin, give us the games for locals right now. If people didn't hear us during the games, tell us who's playing this week and where.
Yeah, let me pull it up on my phone. So this week we have regional semifinal games. Division 4 will play. Division 4 and Division 3 will play on Tuesday. So Division 4, Warren JFK just coming off the district championship win against McDonald. They will go to play Lucas. That game will be at Akron Firestone at 5:30 Tuesday. Following that will be Richmond Heights and Bristol. So both those games on Tuesday in D4 will be at Akron Firestone High School. And then Division III region semifinals, Carter Mooney versus Lutheran East. That's at 5:30. And then Creston Norwayne and Springfield 8 o'clock up there at Twinsburg High School. I will be at Twinsburg on Tuesday. Devils.mark will be up in Akron on Tuesday. So we have all 4 of those games covered for you guys. And then on Thursday, we have the big one at 2 p.m. I will be in Dayton with Cole Clayton, McDonald, and Waterford at the University of Dayton Arena. That's the girls' state semifinal game. And then for the boys' swing of things on D2 Thursday night, St. B's and Struthers at 5:30, Cheney and Gilmore Academy 8:15 at Barberton. So, Anthony, we have 6 games on the docket throughout the week in boys' games, and then we have the big one in the girls' side of things, 2 o'clock on Thursday. And, let me say this real quick. Regardless of what happens on Thursday, Tony Matisse has done a fine job in just one season. And, he wasn't even there half the season as it was. I feel really bad. But just the things he's done in this little short time, I'm really hoping McDonald finishes off. And they definitely deserve it. 5 out of the 6 that play mostly the whole game are seniors. So they're losing, 5 out of the 6 starters, next season to graduation. So obviously they're going to be young next year, but, this is their time to shine. And I really like McDonald to win this game on Thursday and then advance to Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and I know Tony very well. Tony, I worked with him for years. He was at Lowville, was successful there. He was at South Range, was successful there. Wherever he goes, he's very successful. And he was at he's just I wish them the very best. I know they haven't been there since '91, so that'll be something that we see. I check the OHSA.org if the game's going to be on TV or live, and check out Austin. Austin, give them your website and everything like that, so you can give up to dates on scores.
Yeah, so definitely. Obviously, I will be there, so we will have it on my personal media platforms. I know Cole said he'll do it on his personal page as well. The Malutic Live Facebook page will share everything on, or Twitter, same stuff, same usernames. We'll have Instagram. We'll have Snapchat going as well. Our website, we're going to keep up to date as well on that throughout the game, just so you guys are aware. It's a 3-hour, 50-minute drive, but throw the gas money, throw all that out the window. We don't care. We are here to do, cover the game for McDonald or for any school in general. So we're going to go down Thursday. I think we're leaving at like 7:30 a.m. It's a 3-hour, 50-minute drive. Tip-off's at 2. We're going to try to get down there earlier and get a feel for the stadium. I've never been there, Anthony. I'm not sure if you have, but I'm looking forward to the big one on Thursday. It should be a lot of fun. I'm really, really looking forward to this one. I hope McDonald pulls it out.
Yeah, I think they'll all be great games. I think you got all great head coaches, all great teams, and we wish them all the very best.
Definitely. And don't forget 6 boys games Tuesday and Thursday as well. So, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do. Monday or Wednesday, nothing to do. So tomorrow, don't forget, Donnie, Rick, Telly, and I are going to preview all the games for the week. 9 o'clock tomorrow night we'll be on. So got to get something on the network since there's no games tomorrow, Anthony. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially. Yep. So I appreciate Austin. Always a pleasure, my man.
Always a pleasure, Anthony. Really appreciate you guys doing this, and for everyone out there, thank you. We had four great people, so thank you to everyone again.
Not a problem. We had 4 great. We'll be in touch. We made the announcements. We'll post this up on YouTube. If you can't watch it, share it to your friends. This will be up on YouTube in the next probably 20 minutes, less than that. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you need any more information or you want to see who was in the top or anything like that, you can go to anthonyvspano.com or go to his website. What's your website again, Austin?
It's maluticlive.org.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight on this very special edition sports segment. We hope you had fun. We had a blast. Good night. God bless. Have a great night, everyone.